I don't like how I look anymore. You know, people tell you, oh, you look fine, nothing's wrong with you. I don't like how I look. I don't like how my stomach sticks out. Hey guys, it's Drea and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're talking about something very personal and specific to me. Um, and you know, maybe there's other people out here who have similar stories, or somebody could offer me like some type of advice or encouragement. I know I come on here normally trying to encourage others, but I think I might need it this time. So I want to talk about like my fibroid journey, which I never thought that I would come on here and talk about because it's super personal. And I remember when I first found out that I had fibroids, I was like devastated because for some reason I didn't know what fibroids were. And I think I should have known that in my 20s, even in my teens, but I had no clue what they were. But anyway, I'll talk about how I found out that I even had fibroids. So in like 2022, I started noticing like when I would get dressed, I would always see like a pouch like at the very bottom of my stomach, like a kangaroo pouch. And like having a stomach was never something that I dealt with. Like I've never been someone who had a stomach. Even when I would gain weight, like my stomach will always be flat, and that was something that I was super thankful for. But I noticed like when I got into my 30s, specifically 2022, I was like, why do I have this kangaroo pouch when I'm putting on my clothes? Like I would put on a dress or a skirt and I would just see this pouch, and it was just like making me so uncomfortable. And I remember one of my friends was like, oh, maybe you have fibroids. And I was like, no, I don't. Because I'm one of those people like, don't put a disease on me. I didn't know what it was. But to me, saying maybe you have fibroids, it sounded like a disease. Don't put nothing on me. Like, so I was just like, immediately, no, I don't have that. So I started trying to like lose weight and stuff. And it was like, no matter how much weight I lost, like I still had like that little pouch or whatever. But I was just like, oh, maybe it's because I'm in my 30s. Because I remember my mother would always tell me, like, oh, when you get in your 30s, like, it's harder to lose weight and like you gain weight and it starts to stick or whatever. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is just like an odd spot that like I gained weight. It was making me like feel down because, like I said, I was not someone who ever had a stomach before. So, like, I was definitely down about it, but it was just like, you know, I'm doing everything I can. Like, I'm working out, like, I'm eating healthier, and it's just like, it's not going away. Beginning of 2023, I went to the doctors to get, you know, my annual, and she was like pressing down on my uterus or whatever, and it was hurting me a little bit because she was pressing so hard, not because anything is like wrong, but she was just like pressing super hard. And she was like, do you have fibroids? And I was like, no. And she was like, I think you do, I think you do. We're gonna have to order you a sonogram or a ultrasound, one of the two. um so I was just like, all right, whatever. So I remember leaving the gynecologist that day, and I was just like so sad because I was just like, what is fibroids? Like, is it deadly? Like, is it like harming me in some type of way? Like, I just had no clue what it was. Um, and no one had ever told me that they had fibroids before. Not my mom, not my sisters, not my aunts, nobody in my family, none of my friends. So I felt alone. I felt like, is this something that I only have and like nobody else gets? Like, am I eating something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Is it because of coffee? I just started thinking of all these things. But anyway, I started doing my research and I found out that like a lot of Black women have it, and it's not rare at all. It's actually pretty common amongst Black women. So I'm like, okay, it's non-cancerous tumors inside of your uterus that you get during childbearing years. Um, and I was just like, okay, I felt a little better, but not really, because it was like I had to do the research on my own on Google. Like the doctor didn't even explain it to me. Like she was just such in a rush to get the next patient in. And I never went back to her, by the way, because I just had like a horrible experience with her. Like, oh, you just like throw this, you think I have fibroids on me. You don't explain what it is. You just tell me to like come back next week. So I did end up going back to that doctor's office that week after because I'm like, this is probably the quickest that I can get an appointment, and I just want to know like, do I have fibroids or not? So I ended up going back there, and they give me a ultrasound, a vaginal one, and the one like over your stomach, and they said I have 4 fibroids, two the size of like a lemon and two like really small ones. So of course it was like super devastating for me. And then I kind of put it all together like, okay, that's why my stomach is sticking out at the bottom. specifically the lower abdomen. That's why I'm always bloated, and that's why I gained, well, I'm not going to say that's why I gained weight, but I gained 20 pounds, and it felt like no matter what I did, like it wouldn't really go away. Like I would lose like 5 to 8 pounds, but I couldn't like really get the full 20 off. And like I was working out 4 times a week. I was eating healthier, getting rest, and it just felt like the weight wasn't really budging. So anyway, I was devastated, whatever. But like I said, I didn't like that doctor. I didn't like her delivery. Ended up finding another doctor, and they went in, looked at it again. They were like, "Yeah, you do have like 4 fibroids. One of them was the size, well, two of them was the size of a lemon. At the time, only one of them was the size of a lemon. And then like 3 smaller ones, but there was like a second one that was like almost as big as the lemon." So she was like, "Oh, let's do surgery, let's do surgery." And um, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do surgery. So I kind of left it alone like for like 6 months to a year because I was just like, I don't know if that's something that I feel comfortable doing. And if you've ever had medical surgery before, I know for me, like it's something that you have to mentally prepare for, number one. And then two, afterwards, it just comes with a lot. Like I've had medical surgery before, don't really want to get to the details, but when I did have it, it kind of plays at your self-esteem because it's like you need others, like you need people to help you. Like sometimes you can't walk, you can't really eat the foods that you want to eat. It's just like this whole thing that you go through after surgery that I didn't want to go through again. And like I said, it plays on like your mental health a little bit because then you start wondering like, is something else going to be wrong with me? Am I going to need surgery again? Is this the beginning of the end? Like I know for me personally, like I just have to prepare myself for surgery, and I wasn't prepared to go through that, especially the way that she said that she would remove it. It just sounded like something that I just wasn't ready for. But anyway, fast forward to this year, I went and got my fibroids checked out again because I was like, okay, now I'm ready. I want to get the surgery. I'm tired of my stomach looking bloated, and I'm tired of this kangaroo pouch. Like, I just want to get back to my shape that I had before fibroids, and I want to be able to like start like losing weight like easier, which I feel personally, if I didn't have these fibroids, the bloating and like the fat sticking and my hormones and all that, I just feel like everything would be in a better place for me to get back to the person that, or the size I was before I was diagnosed with fibroids, and like how I felt and like the person I was. Because I do feel like since I've been diagnosed with fibroids, like I don't feel like the same person. But we'll get into that a little later into the video. Anyway, I go back to the gynecologist, another lady that I found. She's okay. Um, if anybody has like the best gynecologist, like leave it down in the comments if you live in Miami, because I feel like I've been struggling to find like a good gynecologist out here. And I feel like they care, but they don't at the same time. Like I kind of just feel like science to them. Like I don't feel like a human being. Um, Whatever. Especially because no one in the office is black, and fibroids, the way they explain it, they always make like they explain it like it's a black woman thing. So just imagine like you're dealing with fibroids in an office full of women who don't have them, and they understand what it is, but they don't deal with it. So it's like always, oh, black woman, black woman, black woman. So it's like I end up just feeling like a science project to them. But anyway, that's a whole different story for a whole different day. So I go and I get another ultrasound, and then they do this other procedure where they put a balloon up my uterus and expanded it for some. You know what? Don't get me to lying, but they said they put a balloon up there. I can't remember what it's called, just to see like where the fibroids are sitting, to see if it was sitting on my uterine line, because there were a few times last year where my period would come like 2 weeks early, and they couldn't explain why my period was coming early, or they didn't understand. And then she was like, oh, it's probably the fibroids. Come to find out, the fibroids weren't sitting in the spot where she said will cause my period to come early. So we just named the whole period thing coming early as just like random. And she was like, I don't want to continue with going through with the surgery right now because they're stable, and just don't worry about it for now. So after that, I was kind of a little bit mad because I'm just like, dang, like I was mentally prepared to do it now. I was ready for my flat stomach. And now she's like, oh, well, we're not going to do the fibroid surgery right now. So I'm just like, okay. It's just been a lot, honestly. So like I said, I was diagnosed with fibroids in 2023. It's now 2026, and I was dragging my feet with everything because it was just too much information and it was a lot, and I just felt like I was dealing with it alone. Honestly, I found out more about fibroids through YouTube and Google than I did from the doctor or any of my family and friends. I don't like how I look anymore. I realized that I don't like how I look. People tell you, "Oh, you look fine, nothing's wrong with you." I don't like how I look. I don't like how my stomach sticks out. And I'm taking charge this year. I want to do everything that I can do for myself as far as helping myself de-bloat and not always just feeling like a hostage to my fibroids, because I do feel like that is the reason why like I'm having a hard time losing weight. I'm walking more, I'm working out more. I was eating a lot of like turkey bacon. Like that was just like my thing. Like every morning I was having turkey bacon, a fried egg, and like on a low carb wrap. And turkey bacon and processed meats have a lot of sodium. I used to have like a huge issue with chips. Like I would eat so many chips, and I'm learning more about seed oils and how they cause inflammation and how they can just like mess with your gut. So I'm really taking charge of the things that I decide to put in my body this year. I've always eaten healthy, but now I'm really like getting into like what am I actually eating. Like I have these snap pea chips that I used to really like. They're like crisp, they're not even chips, and they're marketed as healthy. I look at their ingredients, they have vegetable oil and canola oil. So I'm going that far now as to like looking into the ingredients, every little thing. Like I don't want any more inflammation in my body or anything that's going to like mess with my gut, or at least I want to help fight against it. Like sometimes you're going to experience inflammation and gut issues and high cortisol, but it's like I want to do the things that I can do to help myself. And once I get to that point, I hope that weight loss will be a byproduct of those things. Drinking more water, making sure I'm getting 8 hours of sleep, 9 if I can. Like I'm doing everything around my fibroids, because even the doctor said herself, like, they're not going to give me the surgery. And I don't even really want the surgery, to be honest with you. Like I said, surgery is a lot, the recovery is crazy. And once you get fibroids removed, there's a high chance that they'll come back, because that's just how it is when you get them removed. And also, she said that once I get into my 40s and 50s, they should shrink. So I feel like at 36, gonna be 37 in June, if I don't take charge of myself and my health and my mind, body, and soul now, like when is it gonna happen? There's people dropping dead in their 50s. There's people getting sick in their 50s. There's people being diagnosed with breast cancer, having heart attacks, being diagnosed with diabetes. Like, I don't want to be that person. I've never been that person. And I personally feel like I'm 20 to 30 pounds overweight. And this is the year that I'm going to get on track and I'm going to do what I have to do for me, because I care about me and I only get this one body and this one life. And I don't want to go another year feeling like this, feeling like I don't like how I look, feeling bloated, feeling tired all the time, just moody, like knowing my hormones are off. I was talking about the turkey bacon situation and it having a lot of sodium. I just saw that the World Health Organization has rated processed meats as a level 1 carcinogen, which is on in the same class as like smoking tobacco as far as like your risk for cancer. And like I was saying, I was eating turkey bacon a lot, like every day, maybe like 4 pieces. But for me, in my own piece, I'm cutting back on turkey bacon, not giving it up, but cutting back on it, because I don't want to do anything, one, that is going to bloat me because of the sodium, and two, the World Health Organization literally just said that processed meats are in the same class of, are in the same class of like smoking tobacco as far as increasing your risk for cancer. So I do want to show you guys my new recipe for my breakfast: chicken burrito on a low carb wrap. But what I'm doing is I bought all the ingredients to season the ground chicken, like sausage. And basically, instead of eating actual sausage, which is processed, or eating bacon, which is processed, I'm turning my ground chicken into like a sausage, a chicken sausage taste. And I feel like that's going to help me with my bloating. And like I said, I'm cutting out cheese this week. Not forever because I like cheese, but I'm just trying to see if those little small things will make a difference. Hey guys, so as promised, I'm back to show you my chicken sausage recipe that is not considered a processed meat, because the way that I'm preparing it using ground chicken, there were a few ingredients that I needed to make the ground chicken taste like sausage. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. This is low carb, kind of low calorie, it's healthier. You don't have to worry about eating the processed meat that is now considered a level 1 carcinogen. We're getting to it the best way we can. So I'm gonna turn this camera around so you guys can see the ingredients for what you'll need to make this recipe. So thyme, sage, fennel seeds, smoked paprika. All this other stuff is just what I use to season my meat, or any meat really in general. So these are my seasonings, and you guys should really try this. It's really good. It's from Trader Joe's. My ground chicken's already open. That's why it's in a plastic, because I've already made it this week. Low carb tortilla. This is some tomatoes that I'm going to put in it. 3 eggs. I'm going to do enough for like the next 3 days, and an onion. So let's get started. What I'm doing is I'm making a chicken sausage breakfast burrito with eggs. If you don't want to do a burrito, you can also do like a breakfast sandwich. You can flatten the ground chicken out instead of like breaking it up. And I'm not going to break it up like that small, because I want it to kind of be like sausage crumbles and not like taco meat. So that is the chicken sausage. Okay, so this is our setup for the burritos, and I'm not that good at rolling burritos, so I'm not gonna put that much ingredients in it, because if I do, I'm not gonna be able to roll this burrito. The potatoes are optional. I just feel like, I'm missing something without my cheese. And then take these 2 ends, and then you roll. Okay, that one wasn't bad. And in the morning, I put this in the air fryer, and I'm good to go. And when I tell you it's so good, it's so good. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you guys. I got a little personal in this video and open up about some things that I haven't really talked to you guys about. But if you're dealing with fibroids, or you have some weight loss hacks or some diet hacks for someone dealing with multiple fibroids, large fibroids, please leave them down in the comments. I look forward to sharing my progress with you guys, and any hacks or anything that I do that works. Of course, I'll be coming back to share with you guys. Thank you so much to my community that supports me and that always watches my videos. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.